Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajakaacharya Ashtotar Satarshi Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnavrind ki jai.
Jai.
ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai.
Jai.
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय।
Jai.
श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय।
Jai.
वृंदावन धाम की जय।
Jai.
नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय।
Jai.
गंगा माई की जय।
Jai.
जमुना माई की जय।
Jai.
तुलसी देवी की जय।
Jai.
भक्ति देवी की जय।
Jai.
मवेता भक्त वृंद की जय।
Jai.
गौर प्रेम आनंदे।
Hari Hari Bol.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Hari Hari Bol.
Lord,
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Prananath Prabhu, can you read the translation of that prayer? Krishna Kirtan, could you put that prayer back there? We could just read the translation.
He who brought the treasure of divine love and who was filled with compassion and mercy, where has such a personality as Advaita Acharya gone? Where are my Swarup Damodar and Rup Goswami? Where is Sanatana? Where is Raghunath Dasa, the savior of the fallen? Where are my Raghunatha Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta? And where is Krishnadas Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into the fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all of these devotees in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottam Das simply weeps.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Before speaking, I'd like to ask the permission and blessings from all devotees, and particularly those who are senior by age or by advancement in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. So since this is the disappearance anniversary of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, I thought it proper that we speak something about his glories, his preaching, his activities, his teachings. Srila Prabhupada often said that the grandfather is more merciful than the father. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada was the grandfather of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, and the great-grandfather of those who are disciples of his disciples. So how much more kind and merciful is he to us and to you? So today is a day that we can remember him and ask for his, request his mercy, his kindness upon us by serving Srila Prabhupada. And today is the day we can especially do that. The mercy is coming very much on this day. So there are prayers that we offer to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in the Mangalacharan. Maybe you know them. Anybody know any of those prayers that we say, the pranam prayers to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur?
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Namine. This one, Prabhu?
Yeah, that's a good one that we offer. It's a similar one that we offer to Srila Prabhupada, although just replacing the Hey Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Yes, that's one. Yes, very good. And there's three more.
Right.
Does it? Go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhu. I believe that at least one of those prayers culminates in blessing Mati Radharani. Or maybe that's the first of the three that.
Oh, somebody's putting him on there, so I was going to say, okay, sure. This is the first one here. Shivarsha Bhanavi Devi Dayitaya Kripabdaya. Yeah. This is the initiated name of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur before he took sannyas, after being initiated by Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj. Varsha Bhanavi Devi, who's that?
Radharani.
Srimati Radharani, yes. And Dayitaya, Kripabdaya. And he's getting the mercy. Dayitaya Das, that's his name. Kripabdaya, he's got that mercy. Krishna Sambandha Vijnana. He knows and he teaches and he practices the knowledge of one's relationship with Krishna. So we offer obeisances to him. Then the next verse. So why don't I say you say that? I say you say that second verse. Sri Varshabhanavi Devi.
Sri Varshabhanavi
Devi.
Dvaitaya Kripabdhaye.
Dvaitaya Kripabdhaye.
Krishna Sambandha Vijnana.
Krishna Sambandha Vijnana.
Dvaine Prabhave Namaha.
Daine Prabhave Namaha.
Good. You could also say that first one, we should. Nama Om Vishnupadaya.
Nama Om Vishnupadaya.
Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale.
Krishna Bhutale.
Bhakti Bhaktisiddhanta.
Bhaktisiddhanta.
Saraswati Namane.
Saraswati Namane.
Then the third one. Madhurja Ujjvala Premadhya.
Madhurya Ujjvala
Sri Rupanuga Bhaktida.
Sri Rupanuga Bhaktida.
Sri Gaura Karuna Shakti.
Sri Gaura Karuna Shakti.
Vigrahaya Namostute. This is very nice. Madhurja Ujjvala Premadhya. So that means that the exalted love, prema, that's spoken or taught by Srila Rupa Goswami, that kind of bhakti da, means he gives that bhakti that culminates in Madhurya Ujjvala Prema. And that's taught by Rupa Goswami, bhakti da. He gives that. Bhakti da gives that kind of bhakti. Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigdaha. He's the form of the mercies of Lord Chaitanya, and we offer obeisances to him. Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostate. Then Namaste Gauravani.
Namaste Gauravani.
Vani.
Shri Murtaye Dinatarini.
Shri
Shri
Murte
Murte
Dinatarini.
Rupanuga Viruddhapa.
Rupanuga
Viruddhapa.
Siddhanta Dvanta Harine.
Siddhanta
Dvanta Harini.
So this one is Gauravani Sri Murtaye. He's the personification of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and he delivers the fallen soul, Dinatarini. Rupanuga Viruddhapa, and Viruddhapa, Appa Siddhanta, and he Dvanta Harini, he gets rid of the teachings or the practices that are against the conclusions of Rupa Goswami. He destroys them. Now, this is prayers to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So let's talk today a little bit. I thought we'd say a few words, then we might read some from the book Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhava. As you probably know, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned that the appearance, avirbhava, and the disappearance, tirobhava, of the great devotees of the Lord are on the same level as Lord Krishna's. Just as the sunrise and sunset are both glorious and beautiful. So they're not appearing or disappearing in this world as the materialists do by the dint of or pressure of karma. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tattvata tyaktva deham punar janma naeti mameti sarjana. He says that his birth, janma, karma, his activities, which would include his disappearance, they're divyam, they're transcendental. Similarly, the birth and the activities and the disappearance of the pure devotees who descend for teaching Krishna consciousness are on the same level. And Srila Prabhupada would give the example, oh, well, the acharyas, they also die or pass away. What's the difference? Why are you making a big deal? But the mouth of a cat to a mouse and to a kitten are different. To the mouse, the mouth of the cat is horrible. But for the kitten, the mouth of the cat is kind, nurturing. They carry the kitten in their mouths. So death or parent death, of course, the soul never dies. It's eternal. But for the materialist, they're like the mice, and the mouse get swallowed up by the mouth of death. But for the pure devotee who've come to do Krishna's mission, this is one step in their activities of going back to Godhead, or going someplace else to preach the message of Lord Chaitanya. So at the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Prabhupada would often say that he asked and prayed to Lord Chaitanya to send one of his personal associates, personal stock, because he was having difficulty spreading Krishna consciousness, the pure teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And so at the time of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's appearance, shortly thereafter, he was born with the umbilical cord wrapped around his head like a Brahmin thread. You've heard this. Yeah. Of course, he was born in a family of Kayasthas, but we know that caste Varna is not principally by birth, but by quality and activities. And shortly after his appearance, somehow, by the Lord's will, Lord Jagannath, on his way to the Gundicha temple, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's home was along the road between the Jagannath temple and the Gundicha temple, where the Ratha Yatra cart would travel. And by the Lord's arrangement, the cart got stuck right in front of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's home. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a deputy magistrate in Puri at the time. And so his wife, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's wife, took the opportunity to get blessings from Lord Jagannath and asked permission if she could bring the young child, who was only a few months old then, onto the cart. She brought the young baby onto the cart, and as soon as she placed him at the feet of Lord Jagannath, the garland from Lord Jagannath came and fell on around Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. At that time, his name was Vimala Prasad. So that was one sign that this was the ray of Vishnu, the personal person of coming from Lord Chaitanya's personal stock that his Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had prayed for. So today it's very interesting and important to look at and meditate on and study some of the teachings and activities of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and we can compare them to those same teachings, the teachings of and activities of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and we find that there is practically no difference. They're the same. Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, carried on exactly the same line of teachings as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Sometimes people claim that they are incarnations of Krishna or incarnations of Lord Chaitanya. But then if you examine their teachings, they're teaching something completely different than Lord Krishna spoke in Bhagavad Gita or Lord Chaitanya spoke in Shikshastakam or his teachings to Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, the sannyasis, the Mayavadi sannyasis at Benares. But closely examining Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's teachings, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's preachings, you'll find, and they're consistent, exactly consistent in so many ways. For example, does anybody know any examples of this? We would like to add? Anyway, I guess not. So Srila Prabhupada, early on in the movement in the early 70s, he reestablished the circumambulation of Mayapur, the Navadvip area, in the Navadvip area, prior to Lord Chaitanya's appearance day. And that was carried on because that had been inaugurated by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. In the Gaudiya Math, they have a logo. If you've seen the logo, it's very interesting. It was made personally by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And on one side, you have a mridanga and printing press. And on the other side, there's a bell and lamp for offering. So one side, the lamp for offering and the bell, is indicative of Pancharatriki mark, deity worship. And the side with the mridanga and the printing press are indicative of Bhagavat mark, preaching, spreading Krishna consciousness through chanting either the holy names or also the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam. So both things go on together. And Srila Prabhupada also emphasized this aspect of in the Krishna consciousness movement. One side being the Pancharatriki Vidhi, deity worship, rising early, chanting prayers for the deities, etc., doing the artis. And on the other side, preaching Krishna consciousness through regular classes on Srimad Bhagavatam, Caitanya, Caritamrita, and chanting of the holy names widely, as much as possible. And also, the printing press is significant, or signifies the recorded kirtans that are there in the transcendental literatures of the Krishna consciousness movement. One side Pancharatriki, one side Bhagavad Vidhi. And he said both are required, just like in on a railroad system, you have two tracks. One track, they do have one-track trains, but usually it's two tracks. You need both rails to go forward for the engine and the cars to go forward. So similarly, Pancharatriki Vidhi and Bhagavad Vidhi go together. But of the two, he placed more emphasis, both are required, but he placed more emphasis on the Bhagavad Vidhi. So therefore, when under his direction, a large temple was constructed by one of his disciples under the instruction of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in Bagh Bazaar in Calcutta, Paganic temple. Shortly thereafter, some of his disciples became more interested in what rooms they can occupy, what control they can have over the system, over the temple, and they gave up the fire of preaching Krishna consciousness. So therefore, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when speaking with Srila Prabhupada at Radhakund, he said, better we take the marble from the temple and sell it and use that money to print books. So Srila Prabhupada took that instruction to heart, and throughout his life, he was pushing again and again, harder and harder, to print and distribute transcendental literature along with the temple worship. And when Srila Prabhupada first saw the printing press that they, ISKCON Press actually started in Boston and then later moved to New York, but they had a printing press in the basement in Boston. And when they first went to see that press, he offered his obeisances and started saying the Jai Om prayers, Jai Om Vishnupa, to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He was very pleased. He said, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur will be very pleased with this activity. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur sometimes was criticized even by some of his own disciples. And that was because he did not accept any philosophy that compromised the pure teachings of Lord Chaitanya, pure devotional service. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma dhyanavritam. For example, when the Juhu temple was going to be opened, there were some well-wishers who came to Srila Prabhupada and suggested that, well, what we should do to raise money is we should make some rumors among the population that people who give donations to the deities here, Radha, Rasa Bihari, they'll get great return on their donation. Oh, so they approached Srila Prabhupada with that suggestion. Good way to make money, right? And Srila Prabhupada's response was, no, we are not going to encourage people to do business with God. Our purpose is to teach pure devotional service, not mixed devotional service with karma or gyan or yoga. No, our business only to preach pure devotional service. So sometimes so even some students or disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta used to criticize his preaching as they'd call it the chopping method. Did you ever hear that before? The chopping method, because he would not accept other conclusions other than pure devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada said, though those people who those disciples who criticized him, they fell down. They fell down. Giriraj Maharaj tells a very nice story about this same principle of how particular Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was in relation to that. When he was first preaching in Madras, now we call it Chennai, he was preaching according to the methods that he heard and he witnessed from Srila Prabhupada, similar to those of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So in other words, he was preaching against the Mayavadi philosophy that everybody is one and all religions are pretty much the same, and against demigod worship. It's not that you can worship Durga and you get the same result as worshiping Krishna, no, or Ganesh or Lord Shiva. So he was preaching that way, but he wasn't getting immediately some response, and people were encouraging him. Don't say negative about other things. Just present Krishna. That's what you should do, and the people, you should know that. Even those people, they said that's what the Gaudiya Math people do. He said at that time. This is 40 years after Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was leaving. So that's what they do. They don't criticize anything. So he went to one high court judge for making a life member, and the life member, the high court judge, he told him, Giriraj Maharaj gave his pitch to the life member, not saying anything negative towards other paths of apparent paths of self-realization, and just presenting Krishna consciousness. And the potential life member said, "Oh, but what about Sankaracharya? What about Sankaracharya?" So Giriraj Maharaj said, "Oh, yeah, he's an incarnation of Lord Shiva. Yes. He wanted to avoid, because he had heard these recommendations from others, that to avoid any critical statements. So the person kept pressing, no, tell me about what you should we be following Shankaracharya? Yes. So finally, it got to the point where even against his initial initial intention, Giriraj Maharaj had to express his opposition to the teachings of Sankaracharya, Mayavadi philosophy, strongly, that it's not that anybody you worship, that's the same, and that the ultimate goal of life is merging with the impersonal energy of God. No, so he strongly refuted those teachings of Shankaracharya, and as he was doing that, he started collecting his life membership paraphernalia and leaving. And the man said, wait a minute, no, please come. He took out his checkbook and he gave him a donation, and he said, I want you to see something. And he brought him into his his house, the inner part of his house, and there he had a temple of Radha Krishna. He says, I've been worshiping Radha Krishna, and my family has been worshiping Radha Krishna for generations. And I was just testing you to see what your real beliefs were. Are you going to be like those people who say everything is one or just to get some money? Or you really believe Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja? So he was very pleased that this man had tested him. And then shortly thereafter, a couple of days later, he received a letter from Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, because he had asked Srila Prabhupada about his preaching method. And Srila Prabhupada wrote him that practically no one else other than Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had criticized others in terms of their, not the person, but their philosophy, that demigod worship or Mayavad philosophy was not acceptable. He said that. Practically no one else would do that. He is the only one. And Srila Prabhupada said, and I am following in the footsteps of my Guru Maharaj, he said. There's an interesting activity that Srila Prabhupada, interesting pastime that happened in Philadelphia also, 1975, when Srila Prabhupada came for the Rath Yatra here in Philadelphia. It was almost 50 years ago next year. And Ravinda Swaruprabhu, who was the temple president at that time, brought one of the religion professors from Temple University to speak with Srila Prabhupada. And that was the thing, that when Srila Prabhupada was any place, often devotees would find some distinguished professor or politician or thinker, philosopher to speak, and Srila Prabhupada would speak with him. So this professor came in, and this interaction is described in the Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, but the Srila Satru Maharaj changed the name of the professor. In the book, it says he was Dr. Patel, but actually his name was Dr. Yadava. Yadava means a name that's in his a family member of Krishna. So this Dr. Yadava came, and he had a few of his students with him, and he was the religion professor there in Temple University. He came, and when he was introduced to Srila Prabhupada as a religion professor, Srila Prabhupada asked him, "Oh, so you are a professor of religion. Tell me what your understanding is of religion." So the religion professor said, "Well, I can't tell you religion. I can't tell you. You should tell me. I can't tell you religion." So Srila Prabhupada commented, "Oh, a religion professor who can't say what religion is? What is this?" And he looked over to Swarup Damodar, who was on his right, and he said, "What is this?" And Swarup Damodar said, "Prabhupada, I think this is a cheater." And so they had some strong words exchanged. Strong words were exchanged. According to the different devotees' memories of this, some of the people say there were very strong words. Other people say it was very cordial. But anyway, there was some conflict. Some conflict occurred, and the man left. So, in kind of a huff. So we were reading this pastime, Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, and one of the new devotees, they said, "What is this? What is this? We're supposed to be following the Vedic custom, and here he is, some guest comes to your house, your place, and you insult them. What is this? This is this is not very good." So I told him, "Well, I don't know everything behind the background and everything. But Ravinda Swaruprabhu was there, so why don't you give him a call and ask him if there's more to the story than that?" So he did, and I encouraged him to do that, and I was also got on the phone. So Ravinda Swaruprabhu told us that the next day, when Srila Prabhupada was on a morning walk, he apologized to Srila Prabhupada that he had brought this kind of a rascal to see him. And Prabhupada laughed. He said, no, it's my business. It's my business to chastise the rascals. That's my business. He had no problem at all. And then, shortly thereafter, Ravinda Swaruprabhu said he met the same man just after Prabhupada's disappearance. So it's a little bit after. And the man said, he asked him, "Oh, how is your Guru Maharaj?" And he was surprised because he was very favorable. And Ravindra Swarupa told him that he had already left. He said, well, your Guru Maharaj, he saved me. He saved me. I was involved in all kinds of nefarious activities, but by his strong words, he kicked me all those ideas or miserable, deviant ideas out of my consciousness, and I've come back to accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's a very interesting story that we heard from Ravindra Svarupabu. But the idea being that Srila Prabhupada was very strong and establishing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So I thought at this point I would read some parts of the Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhava, unless you have some question or comment or addition at this point. You'd like to comment is fine.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Just one question. Was the mother of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati named Bhagavati?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to. Thank you.
When he had Bhaktivinoda Thakur had two wives. The first wife died. He had one son by the first wife. So yeah. Any other questions, comments, additions? No?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I think just like that professor said that he was saved by Srila Prabhupada, I also feel that. I mean, we were given so many different ways of approaching God, different reasons for approaching God, but I think only here in Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON you get the right and only message. And I was just thinking, even in Sunday school, that's how it starts. When Raju first started Sunday school, Mother Sangeeta, that's where she had started. And his first thing was he came home and he said, I don't want to go back. I don't want to leave you. I mean, even at such a young age, the message that is given is the right thing, that our goal is to go back to Krishna, to get love for Krishna. I mean, he misunderstood it, but my point is, only here the focus is not on just recitation, just getting something. You go to the temple to ask God for something. In ISKCON, it's the right message that is given, and that is because of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. Just an appreciation, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you so much. Even the first day of the Sunday school, quite impressive. Yeah, as Srila Prabhupada said, his Guru Maharaj never compromised in his preaching, which is quite interesting. Yeah, and Srila Prabhupada was very, just like that. Srila Prabhupada was very particular in not allowing deviations or to infiltrate the Krishna consciousness movement, very vigilant, because that's the business of Maya. Maya's business is to water things down over time so that the pure teachings where the force is becomes lost, so that people can't really understand what is the difference between pure devotional service and mixed devotional service. It's something. Other additions, subtractions, corrections. Okay, so there's lots we could say. I thought we would read from this one of the chapters in the Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhava is titled Overview, the overview of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's mission. And I'll stop. I don't think we have it. I don't think anybody has it on Kindle or anything, unless you do. But I'll just read, and I'll stop and ask for questions every 5 minutes or so. Is that okay?
A PDF copy is available, Prabhu.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Could you send it to who was ever in charge of the screen?
Oh, okay.
This is the overview of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's activities and teachings. A pure devotee of Krishna cannot be understood merely by listing his achievements. His very existence is axiomatically outstanding because he loves Krishna. Non-devotees eulogize celebrities in politics, business, entertainment, social services, welfare, scholastics, and art. But if conducted without Krishna consciousness, all such activities are no more significant than straw. Thus, a pure devotee far outclasses even the greatest of great persons in this ephemeral world. Even the apparently ordinary activities of a pure devotee, such as bathing and eating, bestow immeasurable benediction on the entire universe. Simply by his presence, a Mahabhagavata sanctifies countless conditioned souls. And what can be said of those special devotees who preach the message of Krishna, who struggle within the material atmosphere to convince the fettered souls to again turn their face toward him? Krishna imbues such emissaries with divine ability to perform otherwise impossible tasks. Comments? It reminds me of Narottam Das Thakur's prayer, E Boro Koruna Karo Vaishnava Goshai. It says, Jahara Nikate Gere Pap Dure Jai. Just by coming close to you, sinful karma goes far away. Gangara Parasha Hoile Paschate Pavan. By taking bath in the Ganges many times, then you become purified. Darshane Pavitra. But just by seeing you, you get the same benefit as bathing in Ganges for many, many years. Therefore, Caitanya Mahaprabhu recommended Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastrakaya, Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhihai. And today we're especially associating with Srila Prabhupada, spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, hearing about him and asking for his mercy and kindness. Just as Hanuman was empowered by Lord Ram to jump over the sea, or as Arjuna was empowered by Lord Krishna to triumph at Kurukshetra, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was empowered by Lord Chaitanya to vigorously preach and thereby re-establish his message in this world. Like his beloved Mahaprabhu, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati exhibited extraordinary scholastic talents in youth, but renounced materialistic academic pursuits to absorb himself in the real mission for which he had come, practicing and preaching Shuddha Bhakti. Did you follow that? Okay. We'll feel free to comment or question or anything at anything. Okay. Thank you. Srila Saraswati Thakur's mission is encapsulated in his own statement. Prana ache tar she hetu prachar. One who has life can preach. He was the first Vaishnavacharya to preach widely since the days of Srinivasacharya, Shyamananda Pandit, Narottam Das Thakur, and their immediate disciples. So that was, in 450 years. His method emulated that of Nityananda Prabhu, the prototypical Gaudiya preacher. Prema pracharana ar pashanda dharana dvi karye avadhut korina brahman. Lord Nityananda toured for two purposes, to preach prema bhakti and to subdue atheists. Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya duskitam. Much of Srila Saraswati Thakur's didactic efforts were focused on malpractices and discrepancies, clouding the genuine path of Shuddha Bhakti. In an era when, in the name of Vaishnava Dharma, many persons flouted scriptural rules, he reestablished sanity and order in Vaishnava society by insisting that devotees know and practice the injunctions of Shastra. He particularly delineated Sambandha Gyan in considerable detail and with unprecedented philosophical insights. Above all, his Drig Drishya Vichar was wholly against the current of the world, exposing all putative religions as not alternatives to, but merely permutations of the same contamination that constituted the essence of materialism, namely, the desire to enjoy separately from Krishna. Indubitably, his inner purpose was prema pracharana, communicating the apex of love of Godhead as manifested in Madhurya Ras, about which he revealed various esoteric truths. Nonetheless, perceiving the rampant tendency to misconstrue Krishna prema, especially Madhurya Ras, he was necessarily largely engaged in Pashanda Dalana, the subduing of atheists and demons by the method of defeating Apasiddhantas, and promoted Krishna prema only with great caution, for promotion of prema without first dispersing erroneous speculations would likely result in yet further Pakrita Sahajya degradation. Thus, his boldness, zeal, and liberality, in widely spreading Shuddha Bhakti was tempered with distinct guardedness in revealing its higher aspects. Oh, there he is. Okay, great. Oh, okay. Any comments, questions, or observations there? No? No questions? Okay.
I can.
Yes, Krishna Kirtan Prabhu.
I think he, as Prabhupada's appearance as his mission, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had his mission, looks like. That time, the way it needs to be preached, it was very important to establish the purity of this and of Gaudiya Vaishnava at the same time, protecting also. Thus, he was very much defensive. Then Prabhupada Pranam Mantra also says that, Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschyata Desa Tarine. He had his mission that he wanted to, taking from there where his spiritual master left, throughout the world, establishing the personalism. And so I think every appearance of great souls has their mission and purpose. Krishna sends.
Yes, yes. And the mission of Srila Prabhupada is not different than the mission of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Yeah, as you're pointing out, yeah. That word, Namaste Saraswati Deve, some people think that's Goddess Saraswati. No, Saraswati Deve means the servant of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Namaste Saraswati Devi. Yeah. Encountering a world more full of misconceptions and decadence than ever before, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was determined to fight back, and did so with unparalleled combative spirit. No previous Gaudiya Acharya had been so aggressive in attacking the enemies of devotion. He roundly protested anything offensive to Krishna and was particularly strong against Mayavadis, empiric scholars, and misrepresentatives of Vaishnava Dharma. He fervently condemned everything short of unmotivated devotional service. Fearless and outspoken, he inevitably invited hostility, yet was never deterred by adversaries. Propelled by divine afflatus, I don't know that word, he went on speaking powerfully throughout his life, not caring for outside objections or even his own disciples' dissatisfaction. Maintaining full faith in Krishna, he never stepped back an inch, not even when facing threats on his life. Like the previous trailblazing Vaishnava Acharyas, Sri Madhava and Sri Ramanuja Acharya, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati fought so vigorously to declare the supremacy of Krishna against opposition so envious that his life was constantly endangered. Such a forceful approach was required to redefine the predominant understanding of spirituality by establishing that the essence of saintliness was not blasé from the world, but commitment to propagating through practice and precept utter servitude to the Supreme Absolute Truth. Questions, observations, reflections?
Prabhupada also had to fight to establish this in Western world, right? And in New York,
Yes.
challenge about authenticity of our movement.
Yes.
We are lucky.
There was the deprogrammers, and they were brought legal cases against the Hare Krishna movement to stop it, not only in the United States, but also in other parts of the world, Australia, Germany. And yeah, so there was fighting. And Srila Prabhupada, when they was advising the devotees who were going to court in New York about defending the movement against these charges, he told them to bring a stack of books to the judge, that he should read them so he could understand where this is coming from. It's not something manufactured by him or his men, but it's in the line, they're strictly in the line of Lord Chaitanya through Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
And we are fortunate that we don't have to really justify by their mercy already been established. All we need to do is just practice and preach, share it.
And not change it, and not water it down. Srila Prabhupada would often say, my only request is, please don't change anything. Please don't change. And sometimes we change. Sometimes they have a change. And sometimes things have to be rooted out, because this is the kingdom of Maya. And these things happen. And they've happened in the past. Even right after Lord Chaitanya, so many things, so many Papa Sampradayas sprung up. So it certainly will happen now, and it will continue to happen unless we're vigilant to watch be careful to rid ourselves of those deviations that come. Although a proponent of the absolute truth as revealed in ancient scriptures, Srila Saraswati Thakur was not a traditionalist as generally considered. and while tuned into contemporary life, neither was he a modernist, nor was he a straddler of both worlds, but a shargrahi. He presented the absolute truth at the heart of traditional teachings and adopted from current practices whatever could be utilized for delivering that truth. He cut all else extraneous to the truth, including not only neoteric forms of agnosticism, but also hallowed beliefs, customs, and superstitions identified as traditional, yet subtly or manifestly opposed to ultimate truth. Decried as an enemy of orthodoxy, and indeed resolutely pitted against socially accepted forms of institutionalized deviation from Shuddha Bhakti, he was yet the only truly orthodox proponent of Gaudiya Vaishnava Dharma in that era. Can anybody think of some aspects of the teaching of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta and Srila Prabhupada that reflect that idea? I'm thinking of, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta he gave Brahmin initiation to people not born in Brahmin families. And that was a revolution among the traditionalists. And he gave not only the Brahmin initiation, but engaged them in offering sacrifices and, of course, chanting the holy name, Harinam Sankirtan, doing deity worship, etc. His orthodoxy in adhering to the essence of Bhakti Dharma did not inhibit him from presenting it more innovatively than had any previous Acharya. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati did many things that no Acharya had done before, knowing that for Krishna consciousness to affect current civilization, preachers would have to move within the times. He discovered previously unimagined meanings in Rupa Goswami's principle of Yukta Vairagya. Srila Rupa Goswami had discerned Lord Chaitanya's Manobhishta, that Shuddha Bhakti be spread to every town and village, and as the leader of Mahaprabhu's followers, he was fully committed to helping fulfill that desire. Now, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, an empowered ambassador of Lord Chaitanya, and the Rupanuga Acharyas practically undertook that work and actualized their mission. Within 18 years, he inaugurated over 60 Gaudiya Maths and preaching centers. Through the grace of Srila Rupa Goswami, he applied the import of Yuktam Vairagya to its fullest extent by using the best commodities of this world for preaching, even to kings and even overseas. Srila Saraswati Thakur was always thinking of novel ways to distribute the message of Krishna. His theistic exhibitions, parikramas, and use of the printing press and radio demonstrated his urge to quickly, widely, and effectively deliver Shuddha Bhakti, and his originality brought success, for ultimately he propagated Gauravani more widely than any previous Acharya. Although idealism and pragmatism rarely coalesce, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was able to combine the grassroots preaching of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur with the spirit of detachment and austerity of Srila Gaurkishore Das Babaji. By bringing meaningful discipline and verve to the Gaudiya Sampradaya, which otherwise was languishing under the influence of Prakriti Sahaja dissipation on one side and Smarta formalism on the other, he manifested a mission at once relevant to the world, while patently distinct from it. Despite his sternness and uncompromising nature, he attracted thousands of followers and trained them in devotional service to Krishna. He transformed lives and infused them with love of Krishna at a time when there were few such societies He was the founder and helmsman of a dynamic spiritual movement, preaching actively all over India and beyond. Being the first major Vaishnava outreach association in centuries, it astounded the people of India with its freshness, dash, and sophistication. Yet, they were astounded even more by its leader. For Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was a true acharya in the mold of such luminaries as Ramanuja and Madhva. Indeed, his status outshone that of many great acharyas dear to the Lord. About Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his associate, Basu Ghosh had proclaimed, Jadi Gaura Nohite, Tobe ki Hoita, Kemane Dharitam De, Radhar Mahima, Prema Rasha Shimha, Jagate Janata Ke. Had Gaur not appeared, how could we have sustained our lives? Who but he could have informed the universe of the glories of Srimati Radharani, which are the ultimate limit of nectarian loving exchanges? Madhura Brinda Bipina Madhuri Pravesha Chaturishar Varajya Yuvaitra Bhavera Bhakati Shakati Haiti Kar. Without his grace, who could know the devotional path that gives entrance into the transcendental realm of ambrosial ecstasy in the groves of Vrindavan? Who could attain the mood of the topmost devotional ecstasy of the damsels of Vraj? And just as only Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could reveal the intricacies and heights of Radha Krishna Leela, only an exceptional devotee of Mahaprabhu can preserve and expand throughout the world the gifts he gave. Thus, Srila Saraswati Thakur's glories surpass even those of luminary acharyas of other sampradayas, who, although worshipable and immeasurably praiseworthy, were not yet emissaries of Vrajalila. This truth is incomprehensible by discussion or argument, but understandable only to the recipients of Srila Saraswati Thakur's gifts as received through his Vani. Hare Krishna. We're not even half done with this, but if you have questions or additions or observations, it's 9 o'clock. Usually you're supposed to end by this time at least.
Either material or spiritual, struggle for existence is very much inevitable in this world, looks like. Do that make sense?
Yes.
Spirituality also not, even though you want to give pure spirituality, but your existence, your presence doesn't come very easily. You have to really struggle a lot.
Yes. Good point, Prabhu.
It's like as Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains, sometimes mode of goodness is prominent than other modes. Sometimes passion or ignorance prominence, like that. I think in spirituality also we have to fight, in the sense that we have to struggle to establish ourselves in the Suddha Bhakti, and at the same time to make others practice, facilitate for others to practice also. Just sitting complacency doesn't work, looks like.
Yes. Krishna consciousness is dynamic, not static, and requires a great deal of surrender to the desires and wishes of the Parampara, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Yeah.
And a couple of more points is that even though it is for the Paramahansas and the great souls, everything, still Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Prabhupada programmed in such a way, it should be appealing for the ordinary people so that they can also practice. I see example, presenting Krishna consciousness in a festive way, involving everybody, right? In dioramas and everything, he put it.
Yes, in many different ways. Yeah, especially Harinam Sankirtan, distribution of prasadam, and the temple worship, distribution of Krishna conscious literature. Those were the strong aspects. Srila Prabhupada came to New York the first time I was there in 1971. When I was there, I mean, the first time I was there, I saw him. So he spoke at the Sunday feast, and he implored the people. He said, "Please try to understand this philosophy. It's not something manufactured by me or my men. We have so many books, so please try to read them. But if you don't like that, that's okay. Come sing and dance with us, take prasadam and go home. That is all right." He said like that. Lord Chaitanya's and Srila Prabhupada's and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's request was everybody chant Hare Krishna and take prasadam. And for those who are serious students who want to go further, understand this philosophy and preach it and influence others, because that will be helpful for them. I could just read one thing here from this is being his disappearance day. We could read his his last words, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his last words were, "I have most probably given many people troubles in the mind. Some of them might have thought about me that I am their enemy, because I was obliged to speak the plain truth for service and devotion towards the absolute Godhead. I have given all them troubles only for the reason that they may turn their face toward the personality of Godhead without any desire for gain and with unalloyed devotion. I hope someday or other they may understand me rightly. I advise all to preach the teachings of Rupa Raghunath with all energy and resources. Our ultimate goal shall be to become the dust of the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Raghunath Goswamis. You should all work conjointly under the guidance of your spiritual master with a view to serve the absolute knowledge, the personality of Godhead. You should live somehow or other without quarrel in this mortal world, only for the service of Godhead. Do not please give up the service of Godhead in spite of all dangers, criticisms, and discomforts. Do not be disappointed, for most people in this world do not serve the personality of Godhead. Do not give up your own service, which is your everything and all. Neither reject the process of chanting Hare, chanting and hearing the transcendental holy name of Godhead. You should always chant the transcendental name of Godhead with patience and forbearance like a tree and humbleness like a straw. There are many amongst you who are well qualified and able workers, and we have no other desire whatsoever. Hare Krishna. Those were his final words. Hare Krishna. So we beg for blessings, mercy from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur on this day through his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if it's okay, but I would like to continue reading that. If any people can leave, if they have to leave, I know it's 9 o'clock. It's after 9
Hare
o'clock.
Krishna Prabhu, I have one question. What is Yukta Vairagya?
Oh, good question. Means, you want to answer that, Prananath? Means Yukta Vairagya. Vairagya means renunciation, and renunciation means Yukta Vairagya means using things for Krishna. You don't have to renounce everything, but whatever is Krishna's, you can use it in his service. So that is real renunciation, using everything in Krishna's service.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
So that's considered real renunciation. We don't own anything, but everything belongs to Krishna. So, for example, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was the first acharya, or that would ride in a limousine for going places to preach Krishna consciousness. I would say, well, we reject cars and things like that. No, we use that for Krishna service. That's your Vairagya.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
We have a computer. We don't reject it, but we use it in Krishna service. Yukta. Anasaktasya vishayan yatadhanupayunjata nirbandha krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate. That's the verse. Not being attached to anything in this world for sense gratification, but using everything for the service of Krishna. That's real renunciation, or yukta vairagya. Okay. If anybody wants to stay, I see there's about 2 more pages of this overview. Can we put it back on the screen? I can't think of anything better to do for me, but if you have time, Krishna Kirtan, you can read here.
Okay. I think we start from here, right?
Yes, it's right there, Srila.
Srila Saraswati Thakur never tired of talking about Krishna. His lectures were frequent and long. He was ever eager to commune with intellectuals, religious leaders, and other prominent people, and he met with nearly all who were well known at the time in Bengal, not for the sake of exchanging social niceties, but desiring to impress upon them the superlative position of Lord Chaitanya's doctrine. In debate, he was unassailable, well earning a reputation for demolishing false logic. Despite speaking to innumerable reputed scholars, he was never overmatched or obliged to conciliate. He incessantly pressed the same point to all: full surrender to Krishna. Most Bengali Vaishnava orators spoke in a superficially charming manner to lure similarly capricious followers. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati denounced such hypocritical speakers and their non-committal adherents, and preached not to mollify the material attachments of hearers, but to wrench them out of their complacency and bring a sea change in their lives, or at least jolt them to reflect on his message. Despite his incomparable ability and enthusiasm for speaking about Krishna, Srila Saraswati Thakur considered writing and publishing books an even more vital means of communicating and enlightening. From childhood, he was constantly writing. His major literary contributions were commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, and various other shorter works, authoring several original booklets and over 300 essays, many redacted from his lectures, editing numerous books by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, printing many writings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and of previous acharyas of all 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas and certain of his disciples, and establishing 5 presses for publishing magazines, journals, and even a daily newspaper. As a genuine and empowered Acharya, Srila Saraswati Thakur continually traveled, wrote profusely, established temples, preached and initiated disciples. He met with the top strata of society, invariably impressing upon them the urgent need for Suddha Bhakti. Yet his mission was not restricted to any section of society, as he envisioned spreading the Sankirtana movement throughout the universe to all jivas in all species of life. By sending his representatives to the heart of the unassailable British Empire, thereby attacking Maya in her most fortified and vital bastion, he demonstrated both visionary genius and the irrepressible daring do and ambition of a true soldier. His daring do is like, what is the meaning of daring do? Very, what do you call? And very confidently?
Yeah, daring. Yeah. Self-confidence. Yes. And not willing to take chances.
Always teaching by example, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was strict and austere, consistently shunning the material comforts his disciples were always ready to offer. He was ever callous to the external world, yet unlimitedly kind to those incarcerated within it. His pleasure was in chanting the holy names and undergoing all troubles to induce others to chant. As a social reformer, he opposed the adventitious caste system of the day, instead promoting the pristine alternative of Daiva Varnashrama Dharma. He declared the essence of Brahminical quality. He declared the essence of Brahminical quality to be not birth but spiritual advancement, and thus initiated aspiring Vaishnavas from all over, all caste. This book was written by
Bhakti Vikas Swami.
Swami Maharaj.
Yeah.
I know he's very much into Varnashrama system, and I think he meant to say Daiva Varnashrama Dharma probably, right?
Yes.
He wrote it, he must be very clear. Continuing the lead of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Saraswati Thakur performed unprecedented service to Sridham Mayapur. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had been instrumental in revealing the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Mayapur and had done much to substantiate its authenticity and importance, especially by establishing the first temple there in modern times. Srila Saraswati Thakur exponentially increased that work by developing the expansive Sri Chaitanya Matha and other major and smaller buildings, reintroducing Navadip Dham Parikrama and quelling the dissent of those who denied that Mayapur is the actual birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. Srimad V.R. Sridhar Maharaj summarized the mission of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Nikhila Bhuvana Maya Chinna Vichinna Kartri Vibhuda Bahula Margya Mukti Mohant Dhatri Sithilita Vidhi Ragaradhya Radhe Sadhani Vilasatu Hridi Nityam Bhaktisiddhanta Vani. With his first step to cut to pieces the entire plane of exploitation, and with his second, he crushed the speculation of scholars of salvation and liberation. With his third, he softened the Vaidhi Bhakti with a touch of divine love, Ragamarga. Taking us beyond Vaikuntha, he has introduced us to the highest worship of Sri Sri Radha Govinda. With the softness of Vrindavan within and the hardness of devastator without, he created havoc in the world by fighting with one and all, single-handedly battling against the whole world and cutting everything to pieces was his external feature. His second attitude was to stop the boasting research of scholars and doctors of different scholars of thoughts. And third, to minimize and slacken the grandeur of the worship of Narayan and establish service to Radha Govinda at the topmost attainment. He cast the domain of love of descent into his plane with service to Radha Govinda, establishing that the flow of divine love from the heart is all in all. That was his history, the real existence of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. May his divine teachings, Bhaktisiddhanta Vani, dance eternally within the core of our hearts. Is it B is missing here something?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Although moving in this world, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was clearly not of it. An intense desire to satisfy Krishna permeated every breath of his life. He was undoubtedly a Vaikuntha man, profusely decorated with all 26 qualities of a pure devotee. While his achievements may be intimated by listing them, the true value of his contribution can be appreciated only by those who enter into the spirit of his teachings. As observed by Sripada B.P. Puri Maharaj, formerly Pranavananda Prabhu, who spent 13 years with him, I was astounded. He was completely pure. There was no black spot in his whole life. Even though the personality of Srila Saraswati Thakur is not yet widely known among mundaners on this planet, the quality of his benefaction far exceeds that of a Buddha, Jesus, and other titans of religion. It is highly regrettable and a symptom of the times that many conmen are lauded and as sadhus and religious icons, whereas personages of the spiritual stature of Srila Saraswati Thakur remain largely unknown to the condemned populace of this wretched age. While the blind lead the blind, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is a seer of reality, capable of dispelling spiritual blindness, who, as a direct manifestation of Sri Krishna's internal potency, is simply not of this world, and thus not comparable to any worldly moralist, elementary religious teacher, or enlightened altruist. Isn't it Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj also sometimes he's like very bold?
He advocates, yes, strong
Yes.
preaching, yes.
Yet, even though Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is not yet well known, his mission was undoubtedly successful, for he distributed love of Krishna across the planet through the activities of his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who, considering himself merely peon in the hands of that tremendous personage, wrote and prayed, Sri Siddhanta Saraswati Sachisuta Priya Ati Krishna Sevaya Yara Tulanahi Sei se Mahanta Guru Jagatera Madhe Uru Krishna Bhakti De Thai Thai. Sri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is very dear to Lord Gauranga, the son of Sachi, is unparalleled in his service to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. He is that great saintly spiritual master who bestows intense love to Krishna in different places around the globe. Taricha Balavan Paschyate Than Than Hoyate Gorangara Nam Prithivete Nagaradi Asamudra Nadanadi Sakalei Loy Krishna Nam. By strong desire, the holy name of Lord Gauranga will spread throughout all the countries of the Western world and in all cities, towns, and villages on the earth. From all the oceans, seas, rivers, streams, everyone will chant the holy name of Krishna. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada introduced Krishna consciousness to every continent, yet gave all credit to the Mahanta Guru, on whose order he had proceeded. The accomplishment of this one exceptional disciple is sufficient to ensure that the name and legacy of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur will be remembered perpetually. As His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada wrote about his beloved spiritual master, he lives forever by his divine instructions, and the follower live with him. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anybody have comments or observations or questions? I thought this was a good summary. What do you think?
Yeah, certainly. I think that as a preachers, leaders, it's very important to read them and contemplate, and so that we become humble. There's so many instructions and educations are there in this.
Yes. I appreciate that. Yeah. Other comments? Do you know where those two prayers came from?
Is
These
it
two prayers to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur?
It's written here that Bhakti Prabhupada wrote this or something?
Yeah, so on what occasion?
I don't know.
These are prayers where he wrote just as he was coming
Surprising.
on the Jaladuta to Boston and then New York Harbor. He wrote these.
It is the same prayer within these prayers are in the same one.
Yes, yes, they're part of that prayer. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, Mother Sundari, you had something.
Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much. I was thinking about the sternness and uncompromising nature of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and how, in spite of that, he was so loved by so many, and people became his disciples. It's not so easy, right, to receive criticism from the spiritual master, and one has to humble oneself and march on. So I was thinking about that, and then I was comparing it in my mind to sorry, but it's because of the holiday season. I'm thinking quite a bit about the Christian tradition, about Jesus Christ when he decided to turn over the tax tables, in kind of what might have appeared to be a rage. This uncompromising nature of this great soul, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, was really his glory. And, just no fear and he wasn't a sentimentalist. He wasn't, trying to protect the feelings of his disciples, or he was just straight on, right on target, Krishna all the way. I don't know. I just really appreciate that.
Yes. And so that's required. I mean, that's certainly required to cut away the material attachments that we have in our hearts as a real sadhu. Strong, direct, plain truth. There's a saying in Bengal that if you speak the truth, people will beat you with sticks, kick you out. And if you flatter them, they'll worship you. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta spoke the plain truth, but the people tried to Srila Prabhupada mentions that in the Navadvip people, they said, they approached the constable there and said, "Oh, we'll give you so many thousand rupees. We're going to kill Bhaktisiddhanta, but you don't do anything, okay?" So the constable came to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta and said, "Of course we accept bribes like that. We do that type of thing, but not for a saintly person. We're not going to do. So you please take care." So he was on guard then. Thank you. Krishna Kirtan.
Yeah. It's nice. I hope someday we can start reading this also and take inspiration from this.
It's very inspirational. Yeah, and when you study this book, it gives you really great appreciation for Srila Prabhupada's doing, because every detail Srila Prabhupada did, it came from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. Of course, there were certain things that Srila Prabhupada did which were developments of that, but principally, practically everything he was taking from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and applying it here in around the world. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay. We could read this forever, but I think we have to go.
Srila Prabhupada always gave credit to his guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and always remember him on the occasion. And the last paragraph was very nicely written.
Yeah, I agree. Very nicely done. Nicely. Thank you. Okay. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki jai. So we'll ask for his blessing and mercy today Namaste Gauravani Shimurtaye Natarine Rupanuga Virudapa Siddhanta Dvanta Harine Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva Chana Pavane Vaishnava Maha.